23-year-old Jason Scott has been arrested in connection to Queens that dates back to 2021. Investigators
Regarding a major event involving Remy Ma's son, the New York Police Department delivered an important announcement on June 19, 2021. In 2021, there was a tragic shooting event in Queens, New York, involving Remy Ma's 23-year-old son. Police also detained a 22-year-old man named Richard Swagger on suspicion of first-degree murder, in addition to Jason Scott. Darius Gabo, 43, unfortunately lost his life as a result of this tragedy. It was during a daylight attack, the kind of blatantly heinous incident that would frighten any bystander. A terrible chapter in the history of the community was closed by the Tuesday night crime that occurred 3 years ago. On June 7, 2021, there was a violent outburst in Springfield Gardens near the intersection of 148 D Street and Rockaway Boulevard. Authorities were working feverishly at the time to piece together the shooting's purpose, which was still a mystery months after the awful day. Preliminary rumors suggested that the fight that ultimately resulted in Gilbo's death may have happened roughly 8 months earlier. There were serious legal ramifications. The Attorney General of New York had already filed numerous criminal charges against a number of people, including Gilbo, prior to the catastrophe. Letitia James was charged in a different case for her involvement in Operation Heatwave, a large-scale narcotics trafficking operation that involved the distribution of heroin in Jefferson County, upstate New York. From the beginning, it was unclear what Scott, Swagger, and Gilbo had in common. The case was made more problematic by the unknown nature of their past relationship with the victim. Numerous allegations, such as reckless endangerment and unlawful gun possession, were brought against both men. The legal issues surrounding her kid had a significant impact on Grammy-nominated performer Remy Ma, who is most known for her work with Fat Joe's band Terror Squad. At the age of 44, she started her profession in the Bronx and had a history of run-ins with the law, including a noteworthy instance in the 1990s when she was incarcerated for a shooting outside a restaurant in Manhattan. Her son's detention reminded her of her own previous legal troubles. Remy Ma supported her son, arguing for his innocence and expressing optimism that the NYPD will conduct a comprehensive investigation to determine the veracity of the accusations. She asked for her family's privacy during this difficult period and emphasized their participation in the judicial actions meant to establish Jason's innocence. Due to the ongoing nature of the inquiry, Remy Ma's legal team, represented by attorney Don Florio, released statements advising care and prudence. They outlined the standard legal counsel in these circumstances, which is to remain silent in order to keep the court proceedings from becoming more complicated. The cops responded to the scene quickly at first. When police arrived at the infamous junction following a 911 call regarding a shooting, they discovered Darius Gabo seriously wounded, with several bullet wounds to his head and chest. Gilbo was declared dead even after receiving emergency care and being taken to Jamaica Hospital Medical Center. Away from these turbulent circumstances, Remy Ma's private life has frequently piqued curiosity in the public, particularly because of her motherhood and her appearances on the reality TV series Love and Hip Hop New York. She has done a fantastic job juggling her personal and professional lives, frequently showing off her family while keeping them hidden from prying eyes. Born out of a prior relationship, Remy Ma's son, Jason Scott, grew up in the spotlight, frequently appearing on her social media and going to public events with her. Remy has publicly acknowledged their tight relationship, saying in an emotional Instagram post that they grew up together. Remy and her spouse, Papoose, received their daughter, Reminisce Mackenzie, who is referred to as the Golden Child, in 2018. Remy was especially thrilled about this occasion because she had previously talked about her difficulties with infertility. The couple's frequent sharing of their daughter's happy moments strengthens the closeness between them as a family. In addition, Remy is a loving stepmother to Papooses' 3 ex-partners' children. She has welcomed these kids into her family and given them a caring and encouraging home. This dedication includes making certain that every child experiences affection and value, a feeling that is frequently expressed at family get-togethers. Remy has made an effort to keep her family atmosphere upbeat, but her previous legal troubles have occasionally clouded her life, especially because it's thought that they impact her son's actions. Remy's tenacity, nevertheless, is apparent. She swiftly returned to the music business after her release from prison, working with DJ Khaled on a song within hours of her parole. Her comeback to the music industry was met with immediate success, a platinum album, and other joint ventures. However, she has had to deal with setbacks in her career, like a public spat with fellow musician Nicki Minaj that progressed from subtle insults to outright altercations. Remy Ma's biography is a multifaceted tapestry of struggle and success, characterized by her undying dedication to her family and her unwavering pursuit of a prosperous profession despite obstacles. Her life is a reflection of the struggles and triumphs of a person who, rather than letting her past define her, tries to create a better future for herself and her loved ones. Just following the release of her joint album with legendary artists Fat Joe and Remy Ma, Plata Omogo unleashed a fiery 7-minute verbal onslaught during the cold weeks of February 2017. Her unbridled talent and lyrical savagery were evident in this song, which made a significant impact on the industry. Her track Nicki's Path Unturned Shether shot to the #2 spot on the iTunes rap chart as she started what felt more like a victory lap of a promotional tour. With this accomplishment, Remy Ma made a major comeback and cemented her position as an unquestionable authority in the rap industry. Still, a range of feelings were experienced on this trip. Remy Ma experienced a tinge of dissatisfaction with the industry, despite her achievements. "It's turned into a popularity competition," she said in an interview. Her enthusiasm for rap has diminished due to the political maneuvering in the music industry. "These days, I concentrate on my strengths writing, expressing myself, and moving between the beats," she said. "But I've come to understand that the industry frequently forces me to follow a limited creative route." Remy Ma expressed special annoyance at the public's inclination for particular subjects and musical genres in her songs. She felt confined by the standards set by her fans and the industry as a whole, yet she desired to delve deeper into new subjects and broaden her creative expression. "I've created several albums that delve into complex, meaningful topics," she said, "but they often get sidelined because they don't fit the commercial mold that's expected of me." Remy Ma's career is bittersweet because of the limitations she faces as an artist of her caliber, someone who has overcome major emotional and professional barriers. She has a strong vision for her work and a fierce dedication to it, but outside factors like marketability and financial viability always influence her artistic choices. "The truth is, I practice my craft because I enjoy it and find it to be my passion," Remy Ma stated, "but I also have to treat it as my business, recognizing the associated financial strains. Like anyone else, I have bills to pay, and that reality influences the kind of music I can afford to make." Her personal history is intricately linked to her experience in the rap profession. Growing up in the rough South Bronx neighborhood of Castle Hill, Remy Ma encountered many difficulties. Her early life and artistic voice were influenced by her mother's imprisonment and the absence of her biological father, who didn't show up until she was 18. She began rapping in junior high and, at the age of 13, recorded her debut song, The Moving Suicide, in which she tackled the serious subject of life and its untimely demise. Remy stated, "If I were to write that now, it would be considered profound," her voice heavy with experience. Her lyrics were never frivolous. As was typical of early rap music, instead, they were always deeply rooted in the unvarnished truths of her existence. In retrospect, Remy Ma said she had a special place in her heart for the song Dreaming, which tells the story of her journey from the streets of Castle Hill to the intricacies of her present existence. The song was never a single on the radio since it didn't fit the format of mainstream radio, despite its importance to her. I was shocked to hear a couple reference tunes from some of the female rappers of the era when I first heard them. "You're lying!" I cried out, shocked by what I had learned. That felt unjust, almost like a cheat, especially in light of the unique rhymes that Remy Ma had written. She was now Big Pun's favorite student, blending in perfectly with the mostly male class. Producer Alice said that they were a crazy, rowdy group together, and Remy was no different. Big Pun started recording Yee You Baby, his second album, at Sony Music Studios, housed in the famous red brick building in Hell's Kitchen. He was clear and forceful in his approach to the music. The heavyset rapper would spend days on end in the basement studio at this time. Occasionally, he would pretend Remy Ma was there when he made a prank call to Michael Jackson, who was recording in a different studio, to break up the boredom. Remy's early years were characterized by what were affectionately called baby sessions. She would frequently perform spontaneous raps for her visitors, controlling the room with a single phrase. Even though Remy was relatively new to the game, she had to prove herself primarily to a room full of guys, just like many other women in hip-hop before and after her. She picked up on the significance of ideas and song structure quite quickly. A close acquaintance named LV said, "In this industry, being smart means soaking up every piece of knowledge you can." Remy used to train every day in the studio, which he referred to as her dojo. By the time she was ready to record, she had mastered the art of delivering an impactful song hook. Big Pun couldn't wait to show off his new skill on Yee You Baby. He wanted his followers to have the same excitement that he had when hearing Remy rap for the first time. So he proposed that she recite the same verse that had struck him in the first place. Consequently, the song Miss Martin was added to the album, with Remy taking center stage and Pun confined to the chorus and short interludes. Alongside industry titans like Big J, Big L, and Jada in the studio, producer Buck Wild saw Remy's promise. "Working with Remy made me see her as more than just another rapper. She was a standout artist," he said. For the first time, Remy gave rap serious thought. There was no denying her presence. "One of the most captivating mix out there right now is Remy," said a fellow collaborator. "She's smart, confident, and her rhymes are sharp and direct." Remy stands out due to her charisma and powerful stage presence. She was renowned for her audacious, unrepentant manner and never hesitated to take chances. Remy didn't back down from her lyrics, even when they caused controversy, whether they were punchlines, similes, or metaphors. Tracks like Lean Back and All the Way Up were hits because of her ability to seize important moments and her intuition in identifying potential smashes. Remy wanted to be the best rapper. Being a rapper was not enough for her. Remy's goal was evident, according to Sean C., a record executive who eventually served as her manager. She wanted to outperform both male and female rappers. Billy Danze of M.O. expressed his thoughts on Remy's objectives by saying, "She wasn't just aiming to compete, she wanted to dominate." Tracks like Anti-Up Remix, in which Remy held her own against industry heavyweights like Busta Rhymes and Teflon, demonstrated this ambition. Jay-Z and other industry titans recognized her talent. In an exclusive behind-the-scenes statement, Danze said, "We weren't specifically looking for a female artist for our track, but once we heard Remy, there was no question she was perfect." After Big Pun passed away in February 2000, Fat Joe mentored Remy and included her in the newly reorganized Terror Squad. Lean Back topped the Billboard Hot 100 for 3 weeks in the summer of 2004, demonstrating the success of this choice. Loud Records founder Steve Rifkind observed Remy's emphasis on maintaining creative control during the recording of her album. "There's something about Remy. Remy was involved in every facet of the album, from choosing beats to creating song concepts while collaborating with Scott Storch in Miami. This album was created in a studio, unlike earlier endeavors when each rhyme was specifically designed to fit the tempo and topic of the song. She stood out from many of her contemporaries with her thorough approach, but her unwavering vision and high standards frequently brought her into conflict with industry heavyweights like Rifkind and Fat Joe, especially over the song Feels So Good. Rifkind objected, but Remy insisted that Neo, an obscure artist at the time, be part of the chorus. Rifkind finally gave in after much argument, emphasizing the value of creative authenticity. Remy prevailed in that struggle, but she still had to deal with a lot of obstacles in the business, such as arguments with producers about beats she didn't like. Her candor can occasionally turn off possible partners. Remy's career took a sharp turn in July 2007 after she was found guilty of shooting a friend in a disagreement over money and sentenced to 8 years in jail. This incident represented a low point in her life and raised concerns about how her work affected her family's and her own personal lives. Remy Ma's story of success in the hip-hop industry is one of unbridled talent, unwavering resolve, and difficult obstacles. Her narrative highlights the larger issues of gender and power in the music business, in addition to her own challenges and triumphs. Subscribe Rumor Spill for more videos.